Welcome to the Only in Movies podcast. I'm your host, Anari, live from Austin, Texas.
Hey, and I'm your host, Amato, live from Buffalo, New York.
All right.
So, in this podcast, we break down the scenes and discuss things that happen only in movies. So, basically, Denari and I will watch the same movie, and then we'll discuss what scenes we find to be basically kind of don't fit, kind of a little ridiculous, I would say.
Yeah, I know a lot of times we watch movies and we have to suspend our belief. But there are definitely some scenes that are kind of difficult to do that for, and that's what we'll be focusing on here. We're actually going to be discussing Mission Impossible Fallout, and Amato, can you give us some information about that?
So yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout, it was directed by Christopher McQuarrie, starring Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill. The 6th installment of the Mission Impossible series. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, people. I'm not the biggest Mission Impossible fan. We're going to keep it real. I watched this because of this exercise. I probably wouldn't have watched it without. So we'll learn. Denari's a big Tom Cruise fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. You know, I've been following him since the first Mission Impossible, which I think I watched as a kid. And I'm glad that he was actually able to bring it back after a little bit of a hiatus. So definitely a fan over here.
All right, so you want to just get into it?
Sure. I guess I'll start with my scenes. So this is another part of the podcast that's interesting. We're both going to actually reveal the scenes that we picked, and we don't know which scenes we picked. We're hoping that there is a little bit of overlap maybe, but if there isn't, then that's even more interesting. We don't know what we're going to be saying, and this is the first time that we're both hearing the scenes that we chose. So
just a little lift back the curtain. Last night we did our first practice podcast. And during that, we wouldn't even reveal the scenes to each other because we wanted to be a legitimate surprise for you guys and for us. So
yeah, this is our introduction to podcasting. So bear with us. So the scenes that I chose, the first scene, and I think I have them listed in order of appearance.
Okay.
Was the Lark body double scene.
We're definitely going to have some overlap. But I have to, let's just start with, there's a lot in this scene to unravel. There's a lot of room. There might not even be overlap because there was a lot of That
was a long scene. Yeah. Another one that I chose was the London Walker chase scene. So this is when Ethan is running across London, kind of chasing Walker, trying to go catch up to him after leaving that body double scene. And then the last one that I have, which is not too bad, I would say, for all things considered, and this one is out of order. Was the plane skydiving scene when they're parachuting.
Oh, so at the beginning. That's at the beginning.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
Okay.
When they're parachuting in. Yeah, so those are my 3 scenes, Amato. What do you have?
So, scene number 1. And we're going to get into this. We're going to analyze this and talk about why we chose these scenes too. But scene number 1 was the whole bathroom scene was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So, my other scene that I thought this was pretty ridiculous was when Tom Cruise met his wife and her husband. I thought that scene was kind of ridiculous.
At the hospital camp?
Yeah, and the husband's reaction. We're going to talk about that. And this wasn't a scene, but when Tom Cruise was pretending to be the Asian dude, who wasn't really the Asian dude, who was really... And he said, I murder women and children with smallpox. Even though I know that's what the dude was known for, it was just so out of place. I didn't even. But let's go back to the first scene now, and let's talk about why you chose it.
Sure. So, yeah, again, the scene that I chose was the Lark body double scene. After watching that whole scene, or I guess watching it progress, my first question was, how many switcheroos are going to happen in this scene? It was like, oh, no, I got you. No, I got you. Oh, no, you thought you got it, but I actually got you. It just kept going back and forth. After a while, it was like, all right, it's a little ridiculous. All this one-upping with who can trick whom. Another part of the scene that I actually found pretty funny was that Emilia, who was with the CIA, supposedly doesn't trust anyone after having been divulged that her main right-hand person was actually, I would say, compromised. And yet she sends a whole different team from the CIA to go get him. That didn't make any sense to me at all. I was like, all right, so I'm planning.
Let me break it down a little even more for you, because I was a little more detailed in this.
Okay.
So first off, they shoot the Asian dude in the head, right? There's blood all over the floor. some guys come to walk in the bathroom and they pretend that all the blood on the floor is from a nosebleed.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
So the guy's Henry Cavill's sitting there with his nose up, and there's like brain, I would assume, because when you shoot somebody in the head, there's brain on the floor.
Often.
Yeah, I never been there, but
I would assume.
Right. So they just oh look, it's a nosebleed. If I saw somebody bleeding that much for their nose, I would be calling the ambulance.
Not only that, but how were they able to just shoot them off so quickly and nobody came back? Nobody called nobody. It was just like, please go away.
Because it was a nosebleed. Because it was a nosebleed. So you were just like, oh no, forget it. Oh no, nothing's going on here.
Someone's aggressively shooing me off for a nosebleed. All right, makes sense. I'll buy it.
I thought when Henry Cavill took off his jacket to fight and then got beat up was like super hilarious. I thought the bathroom was probably like the most poorly put together bathroom in the world. They were flinging each other through toilets. They were flinging each other through mirrors. And they would just go right through it. Like, I've been to the mall bathroom. And if somebody flings me against that wall, I'm not going through it.
No,
like,
it's over for
and
a
if
model.
if I do, I'm not getting up.
Not only that, you're probably not going to be able to rip a pipe out of the sink with one hand.
So I don't know if this was the elephant in the room for you with this scene. This scene was the most useless scene in the movie. So think about it like this. They go to kidnap this dude, right? So they could scan his face and use it. They get all upset when they can't scan his face. They're like, oh no, the machine's broken. We can't scan his face to use it. And then they're just like, all right, fuck it. We don't need his face. Let's be out.
You know what? Let's wing it.
So the people he was going to meet obviously didn't know they were going to meet an Asian. So then Tom Cruise just shows up. So why did they need to get his face in the first place? Why didn't they just shoot him and just go about their business?
They wanted to be sure. Not sure enough to, It seems like Ethan is just willing to just throw his life on the line at any whim. All right?
He was Asian though. like I don't know. I'm not a bad guy, but I would like at least have like a general description of who I meet. Is he white? Is he black? Dominican? Asian? Tell me something. Just like, oh, just some random dude's gonna show up and be like, hey,
it's me.
I'm the plug. Yeah, right. Give me the money. I got you. It's in the car. I'll be right back. Yeah. No, I'm good. So that to me was the crux of the stupidity of that whole scene. It was just like, it wasn't completely unnecessary. They could have ran up in there, stabbed him in the throat, cut him up, threw him in the stall, and went about their business.
Yeah.
They had to go through the whole breaking of the computer. So why was the breaking of the computer even dramatic?
And that was like the first thing. When I first watched the movie, it almost seemed like sabotage that it was so poorly done. I thought for a second that Walker was purposely trying to just ruin the computer and get Ethan caught or something. And then I was like, no, this is just how it's going to go. This was just intended, I guess.
Right. This was part of the movie. This was somebody sat and thought, okay, we need this guy's face. Nah, fuck it.
Nah, we're good.
Can we real quick, before we jump to subjects, can we talk about the mustache on Henry Cavill too? I didn't see this, so I didn't know that was the movie, the mustache that ruined Justice League, and it was pretty bad. It wasn't worth ruining Justice League. I just want to throw that out there.
It was bad. I haven't watched Justice League. Was it all over?
I like Justice League. I'm a minority. Story of my life.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it was not well received.
And then I also want to say, at 5:45 in the movie, I wrote down deaf bad guy for Henry Cavill. And then at 6:12, he gave Shorty the uncracked phone, Angela Bassett. Yeah. And I was like, oh,
you called it?
Yeah, I called it. I wrote it down because I have notes now.
He did not come off as a very jovial and helpful character from his first introduction.
No, right. He didn't look like he was going to be the best.
He said, hey, this is my asshole. He was like, she's right.
So what was your next scene?
So that was actually, so you're covering the bathroom scene. My scene is the body double scene when they're in like the canals where they have
the bad guy.
The bad guy is in the actual canal and they have him there and they have him all tied up and they're trying to, I guess, take him to meet people and get the nuclear weapons. That's where I'm talking about all the switcheroos where the guy comes.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so that scene, that was a long scene. And that's when you have...
But that's when he disappeared down the hole. When he was running from the cops for like 30 minutes. Tom
right,
Cruise,
and then he
disappears
lands in the
down
boat.
The hole and ends on the boat. Right. That was pretty The whole even getting down onto the boat.
Well,
And they
that's
just
fine,
stopped
right?
looking. Well, at least
Right,
just stopped looking. They was
That's
like,
the piece.
oh,
I'm
he's
like,
gone.
it's fine for them to, for him
Yeah.
to do that, but then just because he's in water, apparently they can't go anymore. Like it's done.
But they don't have a marine division.
When like 5 minutes earlier, you saw the police boats passing in the water. I was like, so they just can't get there. But my scene, like the actual focus of it, is when they're actually in the room and they have Simon Pegg, which is his name escapes me now in the actual movie, but Simon Pegg is the kind of assistant that's not Luther. Luther is the van man, and then Simon Pegg is the person that's next to him in the beginning of the movie during the transaction. When they're in that room and they're doing all the switcheroos, so first you see that there was a reveal of who has a dossier on Ethan and all this stuff. So that's one that was like the introduction to that scene. Then it switches that the body double is no longer actually the correct person. It was a trap for Cavill, right? That's one switcheroo. Then it switches again when they come back and they have the reveal like, we got you. But then there was another reveal like, no, I'm listening on the phone actually, so I got all of you. And
this
I'm
is the
turning
one
off the
with
lights
Angela
on you guys.
Bassett and okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yes.
It took me a second.
So then it's like, so now Angela Bassett, who her character was Amelia in the movie, and the CIA, she's with the CIA. So now she turns off the lights on everybody, so she has control now. And that's what I'm saying. For some reason, she trusted her CIA team, who was already compromised because her right-hand man was compromised, to go and pick up the man that was compromised. Didn't make any sense to me. I was like, so you can't
and
trust.
that's why they started licking shots at them.
Right.
Yes.
So that's. So I was like, why would you send the CIA? You would. That didn't make any sense to me.
So we didn't have overlap then.
No. So that was a different scene. Yeah.
That was me misunderstanding. Scene. But I actually am looking back at my notes and I do have escape into hole. Why did he pull a knife right before he escaped into the hole? So that's almost overlap. So he rolls off the bike, he pulls a knife, and then he jumps into the hole. What was the knife for?
The knife was to cut that grate or that fencing
around the thing to get into the hole.
To get down.
I missed that.
Yeah. So the knife was to cut that and then drop down.
And the cops were on him by like this much the entire movie, and they let him cut.
They were all around it. They were just all around the grate, and that was it. They just all gave up, and it didn't seem like they even went that far because they were still on the ground wherever they were.
Right.
Like how many tunnels could they possibly be? But in that same scene when they're underground and they're doing all the switcheroos, like you said, they start shooting. And now Ethan can't hit anything, even though in the beginning of the movie he was able to hit Luther square in the chest twice
in the vest,
from like 75 feet. Without having him in the sights.
That, right.
Yeah, he turned a corner and hit him dead in the chest.
Right.
And
with
then you're in a room.
Him. Right.
Now you're 25 feet from everybody in the room all around you, and you don't hit anyone almost. And it's like a whole firefight. I was like, what happened to his marksmanship? Is this not there? So those were my qualms with that scene.
Okay.
That was the scene I think that most had a little bit of questionable content.
But now when you looked at my scene that I just talked about, aren't you like, well, that was kind of ridiculous?
Yeah, I think I've over the years, I think Hollywood's conditioned me to know that bathrooms are made of paper mache.
Well, no, but the whole we don't need his face.
Well, that piece as well. How they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna have to go with it." What are you gonna do? You gotta keep going.
Okay, I guess
keep trucking. You don't look anything like him.
I guess
that doesn't stop Ethan, man.
So now I'm gonna go to my scene. So Ethan meets the chick, and I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I'm not as good at this movie stuff as you. His wife. He meets his wife and her new husband at the medical camp.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either.
And homeboy's like, "What's up? How you doing? You want to ride with us? Yo, how's everything going? Where you know from? Yeah. Oh, you want to ride to the airport with us? We about to leave. But if you want to ride to the airport with us so y'all can catch up, I'm cool with that. I'll even sit in the back where y'all can sit in the front together and hold hands." And I was like, this is a little weird and uncomfortable. When I'm,
like, why are they so willing?
Yeah, like you don't meet, people's exes and be like, oh, you want to hang out? What you like to drink? Like, it's just, that's not a natural occurrence. So I figured he was into that. He liked to see his woman with other people.
You thought he was inviting him for a night out afterwards?
Yeah, he's a cock is the I think it's the technical term.
Actually, he was like, I've heard of you. I kind of want to see what you built.
Elizabeth looked at my notes and said, "What's a cock?" You'll see. You'll hear. Listen to the podcast.
Do you want to explain what a cuck is for people?
It's someone who likes to see their significant other with another person.
Yes.
That would be my definition. I don't know if you have anything to like elaborate on.
No, that would nail it.
Yeah. That would nail it. Doom, doom, ching. That would nail it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
And now that I'm looking back at it, he was oddly jovial. Like, hey.
Yeah. Oh, my man. Yeah. So, okay, your next one?
So my next one is the London Walker chase scene. So this is when Ethan's chasing Walker after all the switcheroos, and he still gets away. That's another thing. All that only to have him still get away. So I felt like that was like a waste of switcheroos there. Ethan's running, and he's sweaty and he's crazy. He's talking to the team on the headset, and he bursts into an office building, talking to himself on a non-visible device. Shatters a window with a chair that the lady was sitting in, and everyone is just standing around.
She was just sitting in. She handed it to him. Right.
She was like, "Please have it."
Because if that happened to you at your office, you'd be like, "Oh well, you obviously need a chair."
Yes.
Here you go.
Here you go, sir.
You're just an asshole. That's your problem.
Yeah.
If somebody burst into your office, you'd be, "Oh, what you doing here?"
How did you get in? We have badge access.
Yeah. Do you have your fingerprint in the system? No. Yeah. See?
No questioning. So even if he asked for the chair, his next step was then to shatter a window violently, and no one budged. Everybody was all right. So what's next?
They watched. What you mean? They budged because once he jumped out, they all went to look and see what he did.
Oh yeah. Oh, they go, "Oh wow, that's cool."
That's
maybe it's like a European thing. I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but I was like, no one seemed concerned in the least bit.
So let's expand on that scene a little bit too, because towards the end of that scene goes to one of my notes when they get to that elevator.
Yeah, so I have a note for that too, but go on.
So this dude has the most amazing upper body strength I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's just holding on for dear life.
But he also did this on a helicopter. He also did this on a cliff. And he also climbed rocks after being in a near-death
helicopter
battle.
crash, yes.
and a helicopter crash and a near-death battle. He still had the upper body. So, he held on to the elevator the entire time that elevator went up. And I was like, just dude, just amazing.
He had a nice discussion and everything. He had stamina.
He wasn't breathing heavy. He was just
like,
yo.
5-hour energy before he was good.
Why did you do all of this? You're such an asshole. He wasn't sweating if you really think about it. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
And in that same scene, when he's holding onto the elevator, he's told by Walker, "If I see you again, she dies." And then he proceeds to go out the door and see him again. I was like, what?
Wait,
also, I was like, does that not count?
I don't know. I could be wrong.
The next day?
I could be wrong, but did he not have the opportunity to just stomp on his fingers and make him let go of holding on to the bottom of the elevator? Was his fingers not exposed?
Oh, no. He was holding on. It was like a grate.
Like
and he was right under that.
Right,
yeah.
All right. I'll give him that then. Fine.
But that whole act of pulling out the photo and putting it on the floor as he's holding in the shaft, about to like drop. Then he's like, "I see you again. She's dead." And he's like, and you see his facial expression like, "Oh no, I'm beat."
He got me.
Like, nah, I'm gonna still get him though. And then he walks outside through the door, and then Walker stares at him from the helicopter like, "Didn't I just tell you if I see you, I'm gonna kill you?"
Boy.
That whole thing was confusing. I was like, somebody didn't listen to what Walker actually said there, because they just ignored it completely. But yeah, that was my other scene.
Did you have a third? What was your third again?
So my third one was the skydiving scene. That was more like a comment than like
I don't know. I thought that whole scene was ridiculous. I don't know if it was kind of ridiculous.
Walker was just unnecessarily standoffish. Like
jumping out of a plane, right?
Yeah. First of all, jumping out of a plane
above
and
the
apparently
atmosphere.
not knowing what he was doing, because he didn't even know how to turn on his oxygen, and he was still brazen enough to be like, "Nah, I'm going."
I don't need no instructions.
How do you? Where do you pull? It's like, I'm out.
So now my problem with that is I'm not saving you. I'm good. I did everything I can. You kicked me out of the way so you could jump out the plane. I am not going out of my way to save you. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done.
And then while he's falling, in that same scene, while he's falling, Walker seemingly gets hit by lightning.
Yeah. As he's going through the clouds. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even consider that, right?
Lightning hit him in the sky. Not even like through a conduit. No, directly.
He wasn't holding on to a kite.
No, nothing. There were no keys involved.
Right.
Benjamin Franklin was not there. All right, he was just hit by lightning
Right.
directly and still
Duh.
just woke up and didn't seem to even notice he was passed out. He was like, "Hey, you're missing your oxygen, man." That scene, I was like, "Come on, man." He
Okay.
did like
Okay.
he did like a Mary Poppins graceful landing on top of the building. After all that, like, yeah, it's just lightning. I brushed that off. So that was a little I was incredulous for that scene, but I
So
think those were
my
my
come
three
on
scenes.
man scene, if I had a come
Mhm.
on, I guess that's a good third one. Just the come on man scene. Like these two are
Yeah.
ridiculous, but come on man. My come on man scene was the bomb starts 15 minutes and the countdown begins. Du-du-du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du-du-du. In the movie, 23 minutes actually, or 24 minutes actually pass, and then the bomb finally deactivated.
Deactivate.
But my man, listen, he jumped on a helicopter. They got into a helicopter chase. He got into a helicopter crash. Then he got into a fight. Then he climbed a cliff. You telling me that'll take more than 15 minutes?
He did not budget for his time well,
I go to Subway, and it takes more than 15 minutes for them to make 2 meatball subs. And this dude can get into helicopter crashes and, and still have time to save the world. That was a come on man scene for me.
There was
And,
a lot.
and in real movie time, it actually took 23 minutes. I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, this is not 15 minutes. This is
You felt it.
And yeah, you can absolutely feel it. Speaking of feeling it, we were talking about this movie was way too long.
Yes. As I was watching the movie in the movie theater, so I watched it again to get a better view. But when I watched it in the movie theater, around this time, with all the chasing and the scene in the medical camp when they're looking for everything, I found myself looking at my watch like, how long has this movie been going for already? Like, there's still more?
There's mad reveals left. So we'll talk about that a little more as we get into the reviews, but it was definitely a long movie.
Other little tidbits that I caught. Do you remember the truck extraction scene when he's they're getting ready to do the heist and kind of block off the car that the police are transferring?
Where instead of doing what he's supposed to do, he knocks the car into the water.
Yep, he hits
and all
the
that
truck.
stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then he just rolls. Apparently the way latches and trucks work is if you push against a door hard enough, they just all open. So cargo is irrelevant.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the truck's driving away and all the bad guys fall out. And then
that's right. That's right. Yeah. I didn't even try to fathom what was going on there. To be honest with you, I saw that. I didn't truck.
That was just convenient. That was rapid, right? And then the cops were like, "Oh yeah, these guys. Forget the truck that just drove away, and they all fall out of it. But these guys." So that was a funny one. And another funny scene that I saw that I was laughing. In the beginning, Dr. Delbrook, the crazy man, the fake hospital scenario, he was like, "I'll give you the code if you read the manifesto." And they were like, "Okay." So he read the first sentence and he's like, "Done. Here, here's the code."
Well, so I wrote down, that was literally my probably second note of this whole entire experience was fake stream. Like, you could tell from the second that was a completely staged. I didn't know the whole room was fake. I will admit that. I didn't realize the whole room
that was a good setup, yeah.
But the stream, it was like, okay, this guy's not even... he don't hold no water.
In the beginning, I did fall for it when they were like, "Oh, 3 bombs have gone off and it's destruction." I was like, "Oh, they actually did it." I thought Hollywood was finally doing something different here.
Me too, right? For a second, I was like, "Nah, this is fake." Homeboy turned into Tekashi 69. He was like, "What information?"
Started writing everybody out.
Right? Yeah. So you know about the codes, right?
I was like, why wouldn't you wait for the manifesto to be read in its entirety? Because they could have just pump faked you. Like, yeah, we're going to read it. We got the code. All right, shut it down.
Right, yeah. So, my other come on scene was the whole I murder women and children with smallpox. Like, he didn't say it with no feeling Conviction. In it. Like, I didn't feel like he murdered anybody. I was like, I've seen him murder people too. And I was like, no, I don't feel like you murdered anybody. I still don't buy it. Because I murdered women and children with small. It was terrible. I wasn't feeling that particularly.
Like, come on, Tom. We don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah. You could do better. You could do better.
And then just a little bit, some funny notes. Not really bad. It's just, did you notice Walker telling everybody his name and nobody caring? Like 3 or 4 times during the movie. He's like,
you're definitely hi, I'm way Walker. Better at this than I do. Yeah.
He's like, "Hi, I'm Walker." They were like, "Okay." "Hi, I'm Walker." I'm like, "Do you need some love, man? You need a hug or something? Why are you?"
He was about to be like, "Oh, we've been waiting for you.
Yeah, hey, Walker.
We have an envelope. Here you go.
I don't think the whole movie, everybody that he introduced himself to, nobody cared or even acknowledged by giving them their name. They were just like, and
Right.
I felt bad for him. He just wants to be loved. Now I know why he did that.
I can't say I noticed that. That was right. You know why his anger, where it stemmed from.
Yeah,
You had empathy.
he just wanted love, man.
Right. He just wants someone to know his name. He should have went to fucking Cheers.
It was like I am Groot. I am Groot. Like after a certain point.
Okay.
And then I think the last little, and this was more for my own edification. I was like, how radioactive is plutonium? Because these people are handling this thing like it's a basketball.
Wasn't it in the? I assumed it was in some sort of coating that protected the actual plutonium from the actual plutonium.
Me too. So I was like, it must be that way. But my understanding of plutonium was I don't want to be anywhere near it. But these people walking around.
I'm a bad guy, fam. Like, what you want me to do? Like, that's part of my job description.
I gotta throw it in my backpack, you know.
Yeah, I'm keeping it thorough. What you mean?
So I was like, that was more for me. So I had to look it up. So apparently, you can't walk around with plutonium like that. It's not to the touch. It can be non-radioactive. So that was just more of like the more you know.
That was for all the nerds out there. Anybody new nerds listening?
And I'm sorry for all any scientist that is listening to this and is offended right now that we did not know that. I apologize.
If you're a scientist and you're listening to this and you're offended by our science knowledge, you need a hobby. You really need something to do.
Get off of this and go save the world.
Yeah, right. You listen to podcasts to critique their science knowledge. You need a hobby, fams.
We have to make sure we get our science on point. I don't want to see comments talking about our science.
So okay. I'm good. You know me. If I see some comments talking about our science, I'm going to respond aggressively. So let's get into the review.
All right. So for overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
You're that type of person.
Yeah. And I will say I am a Tom Cruise fan, so there's a little bias there. I kind of know what I'm signing up for when I go watch a Tom Cruise movie. As I said, there's also some nostalgia involved because this movie was one of the first big action movies that I saw as a child. And then going into him bringing it back, producing it, and doing his own stunts. That's something that I've always appreciated about Tom Cruise as well. He puts it out there, man.
So yesterday you started talking about him doing his own stunts, and I cut you off when you were telling me an anecdote regarding that because I wanted to hear it live. So
yeah, you were asking me whether he really did his own stunts, and he does. I don't know that he does 100% of them, but a large majority.
I was gonna say I know I saw at least one body double during that movie.
So I'll tell you. So this is a fun fact, actually. During the London chase scene where he's jumping rooftop to rooftop. That one big jump where he kind of almost doesn't make it and he's like hanging off and then he comes back up. He actually injured, I think he fractured his ankle in that jump and still filmed the rest of the movie.
Okay.
He's a thug. So I'll give him that. And then the helicopter scene.
He's no Jackie Chan, but
he's Jackie Chan. Those are big shoes to fill. Yeah. If you could put a fake sneaker sock over your cast like Jackie Chan did,
and just go go about your business, like
go about your business on top of those water fan boats. Yeah, that's thuggish.
Yeah.
But the other scene that you might not know that I think also made me buy in a little more with the helicopter chase scene. He learned to fly that helicopter in a month. I think it was a month or a couple of months from not ever flying. Well, I think he's piloted other stuff, but he learned to fly that helicopter and flew it solo for real.
You think he's piloted other stuff? He was in Top Gun, fam. He's a pilot.
You think he was flying F-16? I didn't know that.
He said, no, I don't know. I'm just talking shit. But he was Maverick. Well, he was Maverick. Right?
Come on, man.
Yeah. You see, I played Top Gun for the NES, but that's
it. That's your knowledge of it.
I watched it once, maybe. So, are we doing a scale of 1 to 10?
I don't know. I kind of don't want to do a scale of 1 to 10 because I feel like that constricts us to a very rigid rubric. Like
Okay. So how would you like to rate them? This is live, people, so bear with us. This is how you create content.
Let's do a banana scale. No, I'm kidding. I think for ridiculous.
That's racist.
Banana peels. No, I don't know. I think I don't know that I would want to do a scale because if I'm
Okay,
throwing out a number in
okay,
there,
gotcha.
but I would say that overall the movie was enjoyable. You know, you definitely had to suspend some belief. It was way too long. I don't know what's the trend is with going over 2 hours nowadays with movies that don't
And that
need it.
movie felt over 2 hours. Every minute over, like, for me, an hour like 45. I was like, this is gonna be a 2 hour movie. And I remember I wrote that down before I started. 227.
Yes, it was a long movie, and there are movies that definitely go over 2 hours and you don't feel it. You know, we mentioned like Woman was
And the
two
first
hours,
Thor,
and yeah, the first Thor. They're
Avengers,
definitely Avengers. Yeah, so like Avengers, Infinity Wars was a movie that I didn't feel the time as much.
Malcolm X.
We can go on and on and on. This was not one of them.
I wanted to throw Malcolm X in there though. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, yeah,
For the
this
woke
Shawshank
community.
Redemption. You
Yeah, for
know,
the woke community. I'm out here in these
yeah.
streets. Yeah.
So yeah, so that was my overall like review. It was good. It was too long, and I also think like looking back at it and looking all through my notes, there were a lot of scenes that maybe didn't need to be included, and that goes into the length as well. It was more for like shock and awe effect, but then it was disregarded completely, like you said, like the whole scanning of the face. That whole scene didn't need to happen, pretty much.
Right, 100%. And that was a good chunk. That was a good 15-minute scene. It was in there fighting for a little bit of time. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a good chunk of time. So I'll jump into my review.
Go
So
ahead.
again, the first thing I wrote down. So this is the first time I ever took notes for a movie. The first thing I wrote down before the movie started was 2 hours and 27 minutes, because that was concerning to me. I was like, I don't know that I have this for a Mission Impossible movie. And it was I felt that 2 hour and 27. For me, again, not a big Mission Impossible fan, not really my bag. It was an okay movie. I wouldn't tell anybody to run out and see it. I don't know if I would tell anybody to see it.
I would say
But
seeing it. So I saw it in the movie theater and seeing it again. It was a little bit much.
Denari saw it three times.
Yeah, this is my third time watching.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched it 3 times. I couldn't have watched it 3 times. I would have just been like, if you would have suggested it and I saw it twice already, I would have said, "La, we just got to pick a whole next movie."
I did this for you.
Right?
I did this for
right.
you.
Just
listenership.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I suffered so you could hear some jokes. Okay?
Yes.
I hope you liked the jokes. So overall, It was an okay movie. Not the best movie I've ever seen. Not the worst.
No, definitely not the worst.
Not the worst, but
it's a good action movie just to throw on. I would say in the background that you can watch most of it, but don't necessarily need to pay all the attention. You'll get the gist.
Yeah, definitely. If I was not watching this movie to take notes, I would have been on my phone for probably the majority of it, because there wasn't a lot that I needed to see and observe. It wasn't like a brain teaser or anything like.
No, not at all. And I think definitely 3 times is too much to watch this movie.
Yeah. 3 times is like almost like punishment. Yeah, I feel bad for you.
Do you have any other things to add?
My only little notes is I thought it was funny at the beginning of the movie, because this is, we've been telling our significant others about this and telling them what we were going to do. So she really wanted to watch this movie, and I really didn't really care about this movie. So she asked me when we started, so you just going to sit here and make fun of my movie? And I was like, pretty much. I'm just here for the jokes and the laughs and to take some notes. And then, but I thought it was funny because towards the end of it, she was like, did you see that? Did you notice that? Did you write this down? And then she read my notes. And I was like, oh, see? Now you're interested in this. So anything for you?
No, I think overall, like I said, I think I already mentioned all the issues that I had and then what I liked. I think they announced the next one. I'm sure you'll be lining up to go see that one, Mato.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm opening day. I actually traded my Avengers tickets so I could go see it.
Yeah.
Who wants to see the Avengers when you can see Mission Impossible?
Hard pass.
Right. No, are they really doing another one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think he like I said, he's producing him nowadays. So he kind of took over the franchise a little bit and is keeping it going.
Hey, well, I mean, I'm not a big Fast and the Furious fan, but people still watch those and they make a lot of money. So who am I to hate?
Yeah, sequels are not ending anytime soon in Hollywood. So this movie made a boatload of money. So
did it really?
Yeah, and the fact that it was funded, like by him, I'm sure would not exactly deter him from doing another
For
one.
making some more money? No.
Yeah, yeah.
He's human, right? Yeah.
More money, please.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think that's pretty much wraps us up for this episode of Only in Movies.
Thanks for coming out, guys. We appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you for bearing with us. I know this first episode was probably a little bit of a mess. We're going to get better. We're going to improve. We're going to grow together as an Only in Movies family. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Only in Movies Pod.
Yes. So that's all the platforms. So we're also going to be on SoundCloud and a couple of others. We'll be announcing them, but if you follow any of those, we'll put the information there as well. Also, let us know what movies you want us to cover in the future by responding to our Instagram story questions. We're going to post some of those, and we'll also be allowing you all to just leave some comments, recommend stuff, and we'll be monitoring those and seeing what you all would like us to cover in the future.
So join us next time for more things that happen only in movies.
See you guys.